Hallo, schön, dass du eingeschaltet hast zu dieser Folge vom Einfach mal Kaffee Podcast. Ich bin der Horst und heute ist es endlich mal wieder Zeit für ein echtes Interview. Und zwar eines, das dann auch noch, ich würde sagen, eher selten zu finden ist in der Welt der Kaffee-Podcasts. Nämlich eines mit einem echten Kaffeeproduzenten. Zu Gast ist heute Felipe. Er ist ein junger Producer, den ich in Antigua Guatemala kennengelernt habe. Und das ist deswegen so besonders oder faszinierend, weil so wie Kaffee und der Kaffeehandel und die Zukunft des Ganzen oft diskutiert wird, finde ich es einfach bemerkenswert, dass ein junger Mensch seine Zukunft darin sieht und vor allen Dingen auch, wie er diese sieht. Felipe experimentiert wahnsinnig viel und als ich mit ihm über seine Farm gelaufen bin und mir das alles zeigen lassen und ihm zugehört habe, da habe ich fast so ein Wildwest-Gefühl entwickelt. Quasi alles ist möglich. Und das alles kombiniert mit viel Energie und einfach Lust auf Neues. In diesem Interview unterhalten wir uns über alles Mögliche. Von seinem Weg zur eigenen Kaffeefarm, über den Kaffeehandel, seine Sicht der Kaffeewelt und auch über die Herausforderungen, die da so auf einen warten oder auch auf uns alle warten. Eine wirklich interessante Unterhaltung, die selbstverständlich nur eine Sicht auf einen ganzen Themenkomplex darstellt. Und gleichzeitig finde ich es aber auch spannend, die Möglichkeit zu haben, dich mal zu so einem Gespräch mitnehmen zu können. Dafür musste ich aber auch 2 kleine Trades eingehen. Zum einen ist dieses Gespräch natürlich auf Englisch und zum anderen entschuldige bitte den Lärm im Hintergrund, der etwa so in der Mitte der Aufnahme anfängt. Wir haben uns einen ruhigen Raum im Hotel gesucht, aber ganz zu verhindern waren die Geräusche eben nicht. Ich denke, folgen kann man dem Gespräch aber trotzdem ganz gut. Und genau dabei wünsche ich dir jetzt ganz viel Spaß. Also Tisch runterklappen, Rückenlehne in eine bequeme Position bringen und mitkommen auf einen Schnack mit Felipe Contreras von der Finca Gascon in Antigua Guatemala. Viel Spaß. Okay, hi Felipe.
Hey Horst, how has Guatemala been treating you?
Interesting. It's been a ride.
Yeah,
but
I
I think
imagine.
Yeah, Latin America is intense.
Can be sometimes, It's culturally very interesting, because of all the things you've experienced. I'm pretty much sure. Yeah, but
Yeah. I really appreciate that you have time for me and my audience.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit excited because actually it's my first interview in English, to be honest. But it's better than my Spanish. Español, sí. But we will rock that, I think. Let's start with some fun facts.
Okay.
Who are you?
Oh, okay.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Felipe Contreras. I'm 26 years old. Antiguan, born and raised, like everywhere. Coffee producer, trying to do something different in the coffee world. Studied international relations and political science. Yeah. Live alone in Antigua, trying to get more independent. Working on the farm since 2018, late 2018. But yeah, for years it's been a ride, man. Yeah, coffee years have been interesting. Yeah, very interesting.
Okay, but that's like for us Europeans, it's not that normal that one is saying, okay, I'm a coffee producer. So that's kind of a interesting thing because you say, yeah, I'm a coffee producer.
Yeah.
That's interesting. How is it? How did it come that you are a coffee producer? Is it like laid out your whole life because you did?
No. Like, this is very new for me and for my family. Like, we are not coffee family, Mm-hmm. Like our income, you could say, depends on another activity, commercial activity, and the farm is just like wish my dad always had, because my dad's also like Antiguan born and raised, so he used to have his plants in the back garden of the house, so yeah, it's kind of romantic. So when he had the chance to do it, he did it, but he doesn't have the time. Like, he has his mind in other things, so I started working on it in 2016, if I'm not wrong. Like, I did like 6 months working on that because like I needed to stop from study, like, and yeah, I started working there. Like, that's why I think I also have like really strong relationship with the farm, because I was there when it was building itself. Now that it has more like shape, you see more like a farm. Yeah, I mean, I was in charge of the wet mill building, because that's a new wet mill. It's not like old. So it's all very new for me, like gathering up all this information in 4 years. Oh. Yeah, and having to shape, be the leader of a thing. Like, it's not like a huge project, but for my first thing, working ever, it's been it's been quite rough, yeah. But so from last year, when I got the first 90 plus copy, I said like, okay, I'm a coffee producer. You cannot fight it. Like, yeah. Okay. And yeah, just been trying to I don't know, like, understand the coffee world, from origin. You remember what we were saying about like the logistic chain in the cherry trading in here? Like, we received the cherry in a place nearby the volcano where all the producers are. So I think that getting to know that part of the coffee, it's very important, because in Guatemala at least, do you know the coyote meaning? I mean, coyote, I'm going to explain the audience. Yeah, coyotes are like coffee cherry traders somehow. So they like buy big volumes from a region or something like that, and so they set the price, kind of, the price they pay, it's like the price, and you move your prices basing on the price that the coyote is paying, somehow like that. So they're the base of the volume in Guatemala, So getting to know that part and how that works, I think it's like fundamental for development, because you cannot only do a farm, because it takes too much time, and economically wise, nowadays I think you can do a lot of things. I mean, there was like this mindset in the market before, where they said like, okay, state coffee, like only state coffee, like from the farm. And I've found like 87 plus coffees in the small producers world, so I mean, you tell me if it's worth it. Like, I think the market wants it, coffees like that, so it's just making, like the coyotaje, more ethically wise, and but yeah.
Okay, so that you are like trying to grasp that part as well, a bit. Okay.
Yeah. So since I started, I wanted to be like in that part of the market, because if you wanna, my aim is to be big, like to do like I wouldn't say important, but to do things I like authentically, like in the coffee. So that was something I liked, because I thought there was like potential in it, and so I realized there is. So that's what I want to get bigger and really like standardize the way, or a way to work with the small producers, like giving them, we're starting this biofabric. Did I told you about it?
No.
We're so, because of the market instability, in the last couple of years, agronomical supply prices have gone up like 125%, something like that. So it's getting more expensive to produce, and you don't want that. So this biofabric, we're gonna produce ourselves our own agronomical supply, organic. So it's still a project, we still have to validate it in the region. I mean, it's not easy, but we already started it. And the aim is to implant that system in the farm and then bring it to the small producers,
But biofabric, like
So we're doing Violes. Violes, you remember Alex farm?
I haven't been to Alex farm.
Okay.
But like the soil thing you were showing us, like with
the compost.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like one part. But we're doing like preparations of.
I like biodynamic stuff. You mean the biodynamic?
But
stuff,
it's more organic, not that biodynamic. It's like permaculture. Permaculture.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's kind of like that. So you use kind of things that you use in biodynamics, like silice, I don't know, organic things. I'm not that technical enough.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what we're doing. There's this guy who is in charge of it. I don't know if you met him, Charlie.
The alchemist. I think so. Yeah.
Okay, small guy with.
I can't remember. It's been a while.
Yeah. So yeah, we're doing that with him. Why? I mean, because of the market thing, and because the small producers need to be more autonomic, So they depend too much on the international market, so you will make them less dependent on that kind of things, I think it works. So why don't,
Okay, so to give you out there a little bit of a context, most of the coffee, or a lot of coffee, is produced by people without a, let's say, wet mill or stuff like that, and they have to pick the coffee and bring it to, or sell it, anyways, on the same day. I did a little episode last week to that. So if you want to grasp more information, just check in there. And and there will come some more information. And I understood Felipe, it's he wants to, let's say, build a structure that these small producers, which they are in a pretty bad spot in the market, can gain a bit more sustainability in their doing. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Más o menos.
And no, I think you synthesize it well.
Okay.
Also, there has to be like an economic reason behind, So
sure.
That's why it's so important, the market. Yeah. And I'm not doing this, or I mean, my idea is not based on just a wish of mine, Yeah. I was in Europe in October, so I saw that, like, in Guatemala is not known for microlots.
No.
Well, you know Guatemala for volume, for good coffees, but volume coffee, so in washed coffees. So yeah, I think we can do something good, Like that's why I also want to go to Colombia and Brazil to see how they process, or Costa Rica, somewhere about it. Yeah, because they're heavy.
I think we will dive into like the preparation and your thoughts a bit later. Okay. First I would have like one more question. What you said, you studied foreign affairs.
Yeah, practically.
Where was the point that you said it's gonna be coffee? Why?
Okay, so my dad was insisting, like, hey man, do something with the coffee. Like, I was still in school. You can imagine, like, you know me, I was in college, so I wasn't really thinking about coffee, I was thinking about other things. And my dad kept insisting, and he's so, how do you say it? Like, necio, like, stubborn?
I know it in German, but I know what you mean. Like, dickköpfig. So he was insisting.
Yeah, and But he's like, yeah, I think it's stubborn. Like he's so stubborn that he wanted me to sell the coffee. The first 2 productions he didn't sell it because he was saying me like, okay, so you have to get in charge of that, So he wanted me to sell like washed coffee, like 85 coffee at $3.5 per pound. Like, what is that? Like, it's a natural, something like that. I don't know. It was not that easy, and I didn't know shit about coffee. Like, I drink coffee like 2 cups in the morning, to wake up, but that's about it. So funny story. I was in a meeting trying to sell my coffee, like my coffee production from the year with a guy. So we were to this special. It was from the first specialty coffee shops that there were in Guatemala. It was like 2017, maybe 2017. So he asked me, okay, so what do you want to drink? Like Chemex V60. In my mind, I was like, what is he saying? What slang is he? Like, I want coffee, What is that Chemex V60? I don't know. So I had to tell him, like, man, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I want coffee, just Americano, yeah. So I felt ashamed, that a coffee producer doesn't know what the filter is. So, yeah, that was another thing that made me understand that, okay, I have to get into the world, not just trying to sell coffee. I think that wouldn't work. So I found this course, in the exporters associations in Guatemala, that it's about coffee. So it's like coffee exporting, something like that, So yeah, I took it. It was like 10 months, of course. So it was really, maybe you don't go into the science of every step you study, but you get to know, all like from seed to cup. I mean, they even showed you how to brew, all the paperwork you need to do for export. So it was very, I think it was my starting point. And okay, so I was still, trying. That was my course was during 2018. And at the end of 2018, I said to my dad, like, okay, do you want to sell your coffee good? Let's build a wet mill. Let's start doing things, not just So he said, like, okay, do it. And yeah, we did it. Yeah. And so that was our first harvest, and we did like one honey, like 20 pounds of honey to see how it worked. In 20 pounds of natural, so that was the first experiment. Yeah, still now it's been like 150, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been a ride.
Yeah, and I remember I was at the lake with my friends, at the lake Atitlan. And the first geisha picking, I sent it to cup, to technical cup. So I remember being with my friends, having drinks, already like kind of tipsy, and just received this email from the curator, and she's like, look, here's your grading, look at it and tell me what you think about it. And man, when I saw it, there was like, because it was 88.5 for the geisha. So I was like, okay, this is new, I wasn't expecting this. And it was the first picking of geisha ever, the first 3 pounds, I think, were there. So I got really excited, and I said, okay, if we are able to do this, from first pickings, when the plant is already mature, all the vegetable tissue have developed, it needs to get better. So I think that was the starting part of the craziness. Before I was still learning, And last year I got my first 88.5 from the process. From a processed coffee, it was a standard Cato A regional, and we did it around. So I said, like, okay, and we sold it good. They pre-contract that coffee for this year, 3 times the volume we did. So I said, like, okay, and that was the starting point of the madness of the processes. So that was when last year we did 40 experiments.
Okay.
6 of them came out right. and this year we made like 13.
How much?
13.
13? Uh-huh.
Yeah, like the lactics, the yeast one. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is how we met, let's say, or how my picture of you formed as a young producer who's trying to do something different.
Yeah.
Let's say, because like what I see in Europe is okay, they are developing more of these anaerobic stuff and so on. And the first time we were visiting your farm, you showed us your laboratory. And this was actually for me the first time that I really have seen anaerobic fermentation tanks in action.
Okay.
I have tasted the coffee, I know how it works, but I haven't seen it. So that was pretty interesting. And I don't know if everybody out there knows what anaerobic fermentation is and so on, but yeah, let's dive into that a bit.
Okay.
Because I think this is pretty interesting. First of all, why are you doing all that?
Mm-hmm.
And what's your idea behind that? And how does it work? Perhaps start with that. How
Which okay.
What's the first? Explain us how it works from picking the cherry to what are you doing with that until the point you're selling it.
Okay.
One example.
Yeah. So yeah, you pick the cherry, you put it in a. You pick the cherry,
Mm-hmm.
you take it to the wet mill. The wet mill, they weigh it. They take the bricks of every lot. Mm-hmm. So bricks is like the bricks.
Sugar content.
Sugar content. So everything has to be like 18 up. We do a sampling. I don't know of every lot of the floaters.
Mm-hmm.
The floated cherry, so we take a kilogram of the cherry, put it in water, and take what floats,
Okay.
So if the floats are more than 5% of the total weight, you're doing something wrong, But that's on field, so you cannot do anything about it. You did it during the winter, the rain season, so you did something wrong. You realized because your yields are not good. So we have like 3%, 2.5% of floaters. So you're good,
Okay.
Yeah. So we do that with the small producers the most because we don't know how those coffees are coming.
So that is like a kind of selection.
It's just a sampling because we don't do all the lot.
No.
It's just for me to project the yields, in green coffee for export.
Mm-hmm.
So we have So I stay between the 1 pound of green coffee for export per 7 or 6. Ideally 6.5 of cherry.
Okay.
So 6.5 pounds of cherry become 1 pound of green coffee for export.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it has to be. And if you have more than 5% of the floaters.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have higher yields, which means less money for you. You don't want it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why. And if a coffee comes with more than 5%, we reject it because we don't need it.
Okay.
And after that, depends on the process. If we're doing black honey with pulp and do the black honey. If we're doing red honey with the pulp and do red honey. If we're doing anaerobic, you put it in an oxygen limited ecosystem. I don't know how to call it.
Yeah, it's a tank without excess of fresh oxygen.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. So you do that, and why do you do that? Because the fact that the fermentation, I'm gonna start different. There are like 4 things that affect the fermentation the most. Temperature, like bacteria in the coffee, temperature, bacteria, time, and there's something more. Temperature, bacteria, time.
Pressure?
And oxygen, no? Oxygen, yeah. Oxygen. So when you take oxygen out of the equation, your profile changes. And what happens is that you bring more like fruitness to the coffee. You can have like floral, so interesting things for the market, and the market is really asking for it. So you do that. My opinion is that you shouldn't do like everything anaerobic. I believe in this thing that I call concept farm. So it's not just a production unit, it has to have like a plan behind it, a logic where you do things. So why we do all these processes? To build up our base of clients from the processes up, not building it up from the washed coffee and then wanting to change to processes, so we build up from processes and then we keep growing in processes, So that's why we do all the processes, and all the coffee processed also because of water. When you wash coffee, there's a lot of water waste, and this year we haven't used water at all, man. That's something but like 10%, 5% of what we did last year.
How much water do you need for washing coffee? Like you need it to move, you need it to clean it first, right? Move the coffee.
You need it to the pulp.
The pulp,
To wash it in the pile, to move it, to wash it again in the canal, and but it's a lot of water that is just running, we have the pools, but they don't. They're not optimal. It's too much water, So many reasons, but so I'm building all this because of that, and all the experiments, because I've realized like renowned farms do this, there's gotta be a reason. So I think in some processes you find out like some notes that the market really values, like something you don't get from normal coffees, from straight honeys, straight naturals, like normal anaerobics. I want to build a portfolio where if you're a client and you come here to me like, I would like to have like this kind of cup profile. I'll tell you, no worries, man. This is called black sheep, When I know it's on our portfolio, number 11. You got it. How many bags? Do you want us to do a twist? Yeast maybe, or lactic, something like that. And we already have the portfolio and everything we note. So we write down everything so we can standardize everything. From temperature, from hours. The bricks, the cherry in the bricks, the pH when the coffee goes out of the oxygen limited space, what else? The days of drying, how many days it takes to dry it, like everything. So that's the only way, I think. You have to work on data. You cannot just work on, this coffee is good, tastes good this time, maybe hope it tastes better the next time. You can do it, taste so much better.
And so you ferment the cherries and then you process them like natural washed?
You do it like you want. Then depending on the process, it takes its time drying. Can be from like 15 days to 35 maybe, depends on the weather. And then you store them, in the bag. You put it in the warehouse. I've learned that you have to wait to offer samples to the clients, like 1 month for the coffee to stabilize, because if not, it's too fresh, So imagine, do you remember the coffee that I brought you to the coffee shop and it was like super fresh and you said like, okay, the ideal is 15 days, and I was like, what?
After roast.
Yeah, after roast. So can you imagine copying a coffee like straight out of drying, and one day after roasting it, so it's all this like veggie like.
This is one of the things I learned the most intense here about coffee is the time and how important it is that it has its time to settle. like you said, I had the same issue with Theo, because he was talking about that as well. Das wirst du da draußen mal in einer anderen Folge hören. But yeah, it was like pretty similar, because it just needs its time to stabilize the aromas in the green coffee bean, and then you can roast it, and then it has to settle, and then you can drink it. And even then, here in Guatemala, you get so fresh coffee that behaves totally different than it behaves in Europe. Because in Europe you get like 6-month-old, a year-old coffee from the roaster, and here it's like a month, 2.
Straight out of the oven, man.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's interesting. That's really, really interesting. Okay, I have so much more questions. But let's go a bit more. I have to use the opportunity that I have a coffee producer from a coffee producing country sitting in front of my microphone. So, what if you had a wish, and could change one thing in the world's trade of coffee for you or for the world? Let's say the concept.
One thing I don't like that I would change in coffee.
What would you change?
Oh man. I don't think I have one. I mean, I would change certifications.
Why?
Yeah, because they don't work.
Why?
Because it's like everything is about money, man. Even certifications. I mean,
yeah, but
I would like exponentially increase the coffee, the producers sharing, with the end clients or roasters or what do I know, I would like 20 times more, more producers, more people, like, and cut the bridge, you would say, between the coffee drinker, the consumer, the guy who goes every day to the coffee shop, and the producer. That I would do.
That is what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, but like the certifications, they pay you more, no?
30. Yeah, but it's about the money. It's not about the organic. It's not about making a change, like a benefit for the producers. Like it's not for me, because I think I have the opportunity to do like a well standardized project. So it's not for me. It's for the people who do like organic in Huehuetenango, who produce like 5% more, because it's not organic. They just don't take care of the coffee, and that's why it's organic. So if you don't put anything in coffee, it's easy to do it organic. I mean, either it dies, or everything. So yeah, I would push a lot more, like going back a lot to practices in agronomical things, from like last century, something like that, before pre-war, pre-World War II.
Okay.
Because that's when the use of chemicals, exploded. Yeah. So I think there's so much more things that have been lost, from there, and you can use like nature, but you have to build systems. It's not about doing this thing and then the other month I will see what I do. No. I mean, you have to build systems, like systems that feed themselves, So, yeah.
Good thing. Good point. Yeah. There will be an episode especially for that. For you out there. Okay, second question I have for you, especially written down. What would you... It matches pretty good. What would you like to tell the standard coffee drinking guy or girl in Europe?
Standard?
Like no specialty,
just coffee,
no
coffee
nerd,
okay.
no, just
everyday coffee drinker.
Yeah.
I don't know, like taste Gascon,
Drink my coffee.
No, I don't know, man. Like, it depends on the person, you know, because not everyone cares about the same things. But I would tell them, like, try something different. Yeah. If it's the case that you wanna do like, help some way, you know, I think you help more buying specialty than conventional. You know, like Nestle and that things. I mean, the coffee, the producer always gets more in the specialty, you know, always.
Okay.
Maybe not the fair amount, but more than conventional, you know. So if you want to do this sustainable thing and you want to keep drinking coffee, like, you have to be moving also, because coffee in the downer parts, it's getting lost because it's not business. So if it's not business, what would you do, you know? Because it's too expensive. There are a lot of climate things that are just changing this. So yeah, I think the production is going up, you know.
Okay.
The prices and everything is going up, and yeah, eventually it's gonna be gone. I think it's not. Yeah, it's. You just have to realize it, you know, and digest it, because I don't think it's like sustainable in 100 years. I don't know, man. Like, the way we're going, like, maybe in those 50 years, and then it'll be changed. If not gone, changed like to 360 degrees change. You know.
360 would be the same direction. 180.
180. You got me there.
Okay. So, I have also, like, for every entrevista guest, I have in my podcast, I have 3 questions at the end. You can answer them the way you understand them. There's no right or wrong, just this is a kind of, you can compare.
Okay.
Let's say it that way. So first, okay, I have to translate it in English. Have a second. What's the most fascinating thing about coffee for you?
The complexity. It has so many stages, I mean, and you can do so much with it. I mean, there are like 8 big producing regions in Guatemala. They all have different profile, you know. If you do a change in the process, you're gonna have a different profile. If you do, instead of gravilea on the shade tree, if you do pine, you're gonna have a different profile, you know. If you do organic stuff and if you do conventional, I think you're gonna have a different profile. Genetics also, you know, you can have like highly yielding coffee but scoring like 2 points less than the other coffee that it's like bourbon, for example. You know, it has leaf rust, doesn't produce the same, but you have better coffee. Processing, I won't start about it because there's no end in there, you know. Clients, ways of doing the trading, you know, because at the end I've like traded like 10 kilogram lots, you know, 20 kilogram lots, 50 kilogram lots, 100 pound lots. It's, you know, everything. I mean, I feel like everything is possible in coffee sometimes. You know, I mean, in coffee, about coffee, you know, like, straight. No, I don't want to change. I know the market in the world is bigger than me in Guatemala, you know, and like, you have to understand it. But I think I myself can do something, you know. It doesn't have to be worldwide.
You can change a bit of the world. Yeah. This is pretty much that could be my answer, to be honest.
Yeah, if you want to be sustainable, like truly sustainable, it has to be financially, economically wise, you know. If it's not business, it's not gonna keep itself, you know. Yeah. Who wants to be working for,
Nobody.
So there has to be some skepticism out of the romanticism of coffee, you know, that no, you don't have to do money, you know, just the producer. Everyone has to do money, you know. Like, for example, I was talking this with I think Eric. Do you know Eric? Yeah. So we were talking about people buying, like roasters buying 10 kilograms, like at $20 a kilo. Okay, good, but what else are you buying? Like 20 kilos for me, it's not changing my life. I can even knit with that. It's just like, it's purely because of the name and being there, with some highly renowned barista or roaster or something like that buys like crazy shit, But yeah,
it doesn't pay your bills.
Yeah, so it's not worth it.
Yeah.
For me, it's a lot easier to work with an importer, and it makes sense. Why am I going to be like basing all my operation, on trading 10 kilos? If you're not gonna sell like at least 100 kilo a day of that lots, why would you do it?
Yeah.
Like what, 10 kilo to once a month?
No.
Okay. What is that paying? I have to bring the coffee from the farm to the dry mill, like doing the process, getting that to the lab, to the roastery where we have the roastery, and then do all the paperwork, because I have to do a formal export for that 10 kilos. I have to pay taxes, I have to pay the shipment. Usually the roaster or the client pays, But just the profit went to hell, just on the drive-in to the dry mill,
Yeah, I heard that most of the time it's more expensive to get the coffee from the farm to the harbor than the shipment from Guatemala to Europe, for example.
If you want to do direct trade, buy at least one container. If not, you're just putting too much responsibility on the producer, too much work for. If you're gonna buy 10 bags at $20 a pound, okay, you're doing something, and you're paying shipment, okay, that's different. But 10 kilolots, 90 kilolots, 100 kilolots, yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, and for the social network, it's great, man. Like I share everything that,
Sure.
But from business point of view,
yeah, and everybody has to eat, and you have to have a reason to stand up, and it's nice to have good friends and do things, but in the end of the day, nobody works for free.
No.
Like I can sleep then. That's nice as well. Okay, so second question is, do you think that it's worth it for everybody to get to know coffee a bit better?
Depends on the person. Not everybody. There's tea people. There's coffee people, there is alcohol people, there is Coca-Cola people, there is Pepsi people. Those are two different worlds. Some people like coffee. Some people like coffee because it wakes you up. Some people sleep after having a cup of coffee, like my dad. He has a cup of coffee at 8 p.m. What's that? And then he goes to sleep. Yeah, but yeah, if I could advise everyone to drink a good cup of coffee, I think I would. If I would tell you, oh man, your life's gonna change because of coffee, I think there's not one, but there's like a group, of people with certain characteristics and everything that are very much into coffee. And you can trace it, like the characteristic. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's the same, like the type of people, coffee related in origin, also have and the like baristas, and so I think not everyone, but a lot of more people could get into coffee, and there's the social aspect, there's the drinking aspect, like the taste, there's the but I know there are fairs of coffee. It can be also like a statement, Like I've seen people doing like art things with coffee, so I think that's a statement. Like coffee can be very artistic also. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good answer. And question number 3. What do you think, in your eyes, from your point of view, what's the biggest challenge in coffee or for coffee in the next years?
Oh. Good question. I think there is never peace in coffee, you know? Like it's very dynamic market, like super dynamic. I mean, I think it's because it's like C market related, you know, or C market driven, you could say. It bounces up and down, you know, like the how do you say it? Stock exchange, you know. So that's why it's always like every year it's like everyone's saying, why do I do it? You know, like I remember running Jespi. I met with Jespi in this La Cosecha event. So I said, hey man, how is it going? How's the harvest going? And he said exactly that. You know, like, can I say bad words?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So he was like, yeah man, like eating shit like always, you know, like why do I do that? Like sometimes I go to sleep, you know, and I'm thinking like, what am I doing? And like, does it really like, you know, benefits me that much to be hanging on this? Because every year, man, if it's not the prices, it's something. For example, when a new actor comes into the market to buy cherry, that makes like all the big players, you know, so that makes a lot of trouble, you know, like producers start like, okay, who do I sell? Do I sell this or do I sell this? This is paying like the same but one's credit, this is paying at the time but it's paying 5 quetzales more, less, you know, but straight, yeah. So yeah. So what was the question again?
What's the biggest challenge in coffee for the next years
to come?
You know, from your point of view.
I think climate.
Maybe
the worst is going to be climate, and there is going to be a lot of moving on the prices, you know, because of climate. It's going to affect a lot. For example, Honduras is still suffering from the hurricane that happened 2 years ago. No, 1.5 years ago. You know, so this year's harvest is very low yielding because a lot of productivity went away with the hurricane. You know, and so it's not just Brazil that it's, you know. So yeah, I think in that case the sustainability and how to make coffee production sustainable, you know, it's gonna be interesting. Because I was talking to this guy also in La Cosecha, and he was saying like, nowadays you used to put the shade trees, you know, 6 meters apart. Now you have to put them 4.
Why?
Because the sun is different, and you have like 30% less rain than you used to, so you need humidity in the soil. So you should like put them more, you know, more close to each other, so you don't have like 70%. The rule is 70% sun and 30% shade. Yeah. So no. 70% shade, 30% sun. And now it's 80. You know, it's moving up.
I have a second with the police.
Or ambulance?
Ambulance? I don't know. It's different.
Okay.
I don't know.
1 point. You got a point, yeah. Okay, so yeah, that I think climate is gonna, and it's gonna affect everyone. Producers, exporters, drinkers, you know, roasters, baristas, like everyone. And genetics and roasters are coming in the scene, you know. Roasters are the sustainable thing now. Because they can be producing at like 40 degrees, you know, Celsius. So that's what's coming. There are already processes. Alex is doing a lot of roaster processes. Interesting, very interesting.
I had an interview with I don't think you know her, Anna from she has a coffee podcast as well, and she's making coffee with another girl. She comes from Colombia, I think. No, Ecuador. And she just imports Robusta. And they had like the best Robusta blend I've tasted in the last years. I didn't know that it could be that clean. Okay, but it's still Canephora, so...
it's kind of gay?
Huh?
It's kind of... What?
It's still Canephora, like the not Arabica, Canephora, like it has still these woody...
Canephora. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it still has this woody, earthy taste. So,
okay.
Okay.
And it's that's like the closest thing you're gonna get to clean, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that in the process you can clean it. Like if you do like something like anaerobic. Something
I was waiting for that.
You know, long anaerobic to take the hairball and soil out. Yeah. But yeah. You have to pay me for doing that, for saying those kind of things. The assessment, the knowledge.
All right. Okay, but do you? One question that pops up. One last question. Do you throw in a kind of yeast into your anaerobic things? No.
Yeah, we've done it.
Okay.
A lot of times, but I mean, people know it's yeast. You know, like yeast for fermented. Mm-hmm. For me. Mm-hmm. Anaerobics are not for doing just, you know, anaerobic natural or anaerobic honey. I think it's a good base to do a lot of crazy things, you know. Not just anaerobic, but anaerobic with yeast. You can do anaerobic with microorganisms. You can do anaerobic with natural yeast from like, we did this experiment of, how do you say it? It's a root that you use for, it's very popular nowadays with COVID and everything. But yeah, like, we did a ferment of this vegetable and we took the yeast of the vegetable out and we inoculated an anaerobic fermentation with that specific yeast, you know, so we expect that flavor goes into coffee. So that you can do. There's people doing culturing in Colombia, you know, and that's also, you put fruit in the anaerobic environment and then you get all the fruitness from the fruit you put, something, and you can do, like, anaerobic, everything works, you know, you can do like a lot of inoculations in anaerobic. I think that's the good part, you know, like why it's so important, anaerobic, not for doing anaerobic naturals. Yeah, I mean, you can do them, man, but everyone does it, you know. You have to do something different.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty excited what will come there from your laboratory and so on. Is there anything you want to throw out to the world of coffee?
Hopefully you're gonna be hearing from me a lot in the years to come. Yeah, I'm not pretty sure, but you know, I have the thing, you know.
The fire.
No. I have the feeling, you know, that something good is gonna happen. And honestly, I see people like this guy Diego Bermudez from Colombia. It's very popular.
Okay.
So yeah, that's some example I would like to follow, you know?
Okay.
Like just doing so good things that you're popping out, like the new guy in coffee, you know. And I think I have a good base, building a good base for, you know, we're already thinking about grabbing some more farms, not buying because tampoco we can't, but like renting, you know, working like on the side with the producers, like not just this region. I'm trying something in Catenango. That's like more volume washed, you know, coffee, and like in that farm we can really do like very efficient the thing about the biofabric, you know, because it's not a mountain, but it's
plateau,
plano. So yeah, that's what I want to tell you. Hopefully you'll be hearing from me a lot, and tasting hopefully a lot. I think that's the aim, and keep drinking coffee. Don't Don't go back to instant, please. That's one thing. And really, I would really much appreciate. You've seen like all the stages and all the work that goes through all the stages. So, yeah, people drinking instant coffee. It's like, why do you do this to me? You hurt the heart like that. Wow. But yeah, that's something. And if you wanna come to Antigua, Horst can tell you you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And where can people find you? Like in the internet?
Oh, so I'm getting famous.
You're getting famous now.
Damn. Okay, so I have Twitter, but that's very personal, so I'm not sharing it. Yeah. But I have a Instagram page from the farm that it's how could I say it? Like Finca G Specialty.
Finca G Specialty.
Yeah.
I will anyways put all the links into the blog article to that episode onto my website. So yeah.
Yeah, and I also have a personal like Instagram page where I put like all the producer stuff. It's Feli.contre28.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like your teenage email, the one you don't want anyone to know how was it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my username. Yeah, you can reach me out if you have any doubt. I like to be very open till we get to some point. Then I cannot be open anymore.
No.
But yeah, like you can reach me. I don't know why would you, but feel free. Yeah, if you want any question, you wanna come by, you wanna, I don't know. Yeah.
Just
buy coffee? Yeah, buy coffee.
Buy coffee.
Yeah,
buy coffee. So if you want to buy coffee.
I wasn't too sure to saying that, This is like more a sharing moment, It's very enriching for me also, to do this kind of stuff.
Okay, so Felipe, I thank you a lot for your time, for your openness, for everything you shared with us.
No worries.
My
pleasure.
I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, it was everything good, man. Like we had really good talks, Yeah. Hope you like the coffees. Hope you taste them back at Germany. Yeah.
Germany, yeah.
Somewhere, That's what I was saying. Like people just running, in this random coffee shop. Oh, this guy again, this Felipe Contreras. What the hell,
Finca G
Specialty.
Yeah. Okay. So, if you let's do that. If you find a bag or coffee from Felipe anywhere, go ahead and tag it with Einfach mal Kaffee and with his Instagram, so we can both find that. That would be awesome. Worldwide mission. Now.
Starting now.
All right. Okay. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, man. No worries. It's Saturday.
It's Saturday. Right, it's Saturday. Yeah, I lost my time.
The vacation.
Okay. So, und dir da draußen, danke für die Aufmerksamkeit. Ich hoffe, mein Englisch war gut genug. Du konntest uns folgen. Und ja, danke fürs Zuhören. Allzeit eine Handbreit, guten Kaffee unterm Kiel und bis zur nächsten Folge vom Einfach mal Kaffee Podcast.